If you've blown your trading account again and you're tired of the guilt, the confusion, and the cycle of self-sabotage, this video is your turning point. You'll discover how to reset your mindset, rebuild with discipline, and finally create the consistency you've been chasing. If you're ready to trade with clarity, control, and confidence, hit that subscribe button. You ever sit there looking at the screen, knowing you shouldn't hit the button, and then you do it anyway? Not because it's a great setup, not because your analysis confirms it, but because deep down, you're trying to fix something that trading can't fix. Maybe you just blew the account. Again. And now the only thing louder than the silence is the story in your head. How did I let this happen again? Maybe I'm just not meant for this. What's wrong with me? If that's where you are, let me tell you something nobody told me when I was in that place. You're not broken. You're in a loop. And loops can be broken. Let me take you back to the moment I realized I was stuck in one. It was a Wednesday, London session. I had already lost 3 trades that week, all avoidable, all rushed. But I told myself I was learning. It's part of the game, I said. So when I saw a semi-decent setup forming on a USD, I didn't wait for my confirmations. I jumped in early, trying to catch the move. It went against me in less than 2 minutes. I froze. No stop loss. No plan. Just sweat in my palms and a voice in my head saying, maybe if I hold, it'll turn. It didn't. Margin call. That was the 3rd account I had blown in 6 months. And I wish I could tell you that I handled it like a calm, process-driven professional, but I didn't. I sat there in the dark, screen off, staring at the wall. Not just mad at the market, mad at myself. Not just for the trade, but for what it represented. Because it wasn't just a trade. It was the proof I thought I needed, that I was never going to figure this out. That's what no one tells you about blowing accounts. It's not the money that hurts the most. It's what it triggers in your identity. See, every trader starts out with hope, with curiosity, with courage. But when you blow an account, especially more than once, that hope starts to rot. You stop seeing red numbers on the chart and start seeing red flags in yourself. Let me be real with you. You cannot grind your way out of that spiral. You cannot solve an identity wound with another win. Because when you've tied your self-worth to your P&L, you're never really trading the market. You're trading yourself. And that's where the cycle begins. First comes the loss, then the panic, then the overtrade, then the silence, then the promise, I'll never do that again. Until the next time. And there will be a next time, unless you stop trying to escape the cycle and start understanding it. Let's break this down. What actually causes the blow-up cycle? It's not just bad setups or poor risk management. Those are symptoms. The root cause is this. You're using trading to meet an emotional need it was never designed to satisfy. Sometimes that need is certainty. Sometimes it's control. Sometimes it's validation. But here's the kicker. Every time you try to fill that void with a trade, you are reinforcing the very insecurity that created it. It's like trying to put out a fire by throwing gasoline on it. So how do we stop? How do we break this cycle? Practically, not just motivationally. Let me show you 3 stages I had to walk through. Slowly, painfully, but thoroughly. First, you have to name the story. After that account blow, I didn't journal about the trade. I journaled about the voice behind the trade. That part of me that said, if you just win this one, you'll feel better. If you don't take this, you'll fall behind. If you admit this was emotional, it means you're not cut out for this. That voice was loud. It had been running the show for months, so I wrote it down. Verbatim, every accusation, every insecurity, every desperate rationalization. And when I saw it all on the page, I realized something. It wasn't true. It was fear. Fear wearing the mask of logic. Fear pretending to be my inner voice. So I wrote a new story. Not as a lie, but as a reframe. I wrote, even if I blow this account, it doesn't mean I'm broken. It means I need to train my nervous system, not just my technicals. It means I need better rituals, not more regret. It means I'm in a refining phase, not a rejection. You'd be amazed how powerful it is to take your shame out of the shadows and confront it with clarity. Second, create the rupture ritual. This is what I call the moment-based decision structure. The moment after a loss, especially a big one, is a tripwire. That's where most traders fall. So I built a ritual around that exact moment, and I want you to adopt it today. Here's what it looks like. Loss happens. Step 1, say it out loud. Pause. Literally, out loud. Interrupt the impulse. Step 2, set a 15-minute timer. No decisions until the timer ends. No charting, no reviewing, just breathe. Step 3, during the timer, write these 3 things. What was my emotional state before the trade? Did I follow my process fully? What does this loss not mean about me? That last question saved me. Because in that space, I was retraining my nervous system not to react, but to reflect. This ritual turned my worst trading moments into the most transformational ones. The third stage is what I call rebuilding the rhythm. After a blow-up, don't rebuild the account. Rebuild the rhythm. Because rhythm creates confidence, and confidence creates clarity. And clarity is what keeps you from burning down your progress again. Let me give you a structure. It's called the 3-trade reset protocol. Once you've blown an account, or even after a major mistake, start here. Day 1. Only take trades in a simulated or demo environment. Review each one. Journal the emotions, not just the entries. Day 2. Trade live, but with 10% of your usual risk. 1 trade only, no exceptions. Day 3. Trade live again. 2 trades max. Same reduced risk. If either trade is a win, do not increase size the next day. If both are losses, pause for 24 hours and reflect. You do this for 1 week. And what you'll notice is your nervous system begins to relax. Your urgency fades. Your confidence comes back, not from results, but from rhythm. This is how you become the kind of trader who doesn't fear blowing up because they've trained themselves to respond, not react. Let me tell you a story. There was a guy I mentored last year. Let's call him Sam. He had a pattern: win for 2 weeks, over leverage on a Friday, blow half the account, spiral. He was obsessed with proving he had mastered the market. But what he hadn't mastered was himself. So we stripped it back. No more chasing, no more proving. I had him go through the rupture ritual after every session, not just after losses. And for the first time in months, he ended a trading week with full emotional capital intact. Not because he didn't lose, but because he didn't abandon himself after the loss. That's what this game is really about. Let me be clear. You are not your account balance. You are not your last mistake. You are not defined by the number of times you've blown up, unless you stop learning from them. You know what makes a trader elite? It's not just accuracy, it's self-trust. And self-trust is built in the moments where you could spiral, but you choose not to. So here's your invitation. Stop running from the wreckage. Start studying it. Use your past blow-ups as blueprints. Journal them. Deconstruct them. Ritualize your recovery. And when you're ready to trade again, choose a broker that supports your discipline, not sabotages it. There's a link in the description to one I trust, not a promo. Just a soft suggestion for when you're ready to build on stable ground. Because the truth is, you might blow up again. You might fall short again. But the cycle only repeats if you stop responding. And if you're still listening to this, you're not the kind of person who gives up easily. Let's build the new cycle, the one where you recover, rebuild, and rise. 1 trade at a time, 1 ritual at a time. You're not lost. You're learning how to lead yourself. And that is where real trading begins. If you want a deep dive on how to rebuild after blowing an account the smart, sustainable way, drop a comment below. If enough of you are ready to break the cycle for good, we'll create something powerful to guide you there. So here you are, still standing, still watching, still listening. That means something. It means you didn't just blow the account and walk away. You didn't close the laptop and escape into distraction. You're still here, still looking for the pattern, for the truth under the surface, for a way out of the spiral that doesn't involve quitting or gambling your way through it. Let's build on that. Because in the beginning, we talked about the loop, the cycle of sabotage. Now let's go deeper. Let's talk about how to change your default, because that's what causes repeat destruction. It's not just the trades, it's your default settings, emotionally, mentally, neurologically. Until those change, no system, no signal, no strategy will save you. Let me give you a principle I wish someone had told me on day 1. You trade what you believe about yourself, not what you see on the chart. That means when you think you're managing a position, you're actually managing a perception of yourself, of your worth, of how safe you feel in uncertainty. And guess what trading is made of? Uncertainty. That's why you panic when a candle wicks against you, why you revenge trade after a loss, why you break your rules even when you know better. It's not lack of knowledge, it's untrained emotion. So let's train it. Let me give you 3 deep, practical levers you can pull starting today to break the deeper layer of the blow-up cycle. We start with the emotional tripwire. This one is powerful. Write it down. Use it daily. The emotional tripwire is a tool to catch sabotage in real time before it becomes a blown trade. Because most of your damage doesn't come from analysis mistakes. It comes from emotional blind spots. So here's how the tripwire works. Before you take any trade, you ask yourself 2 questions. 1. What am I trying to feel after this trade? 2. What would I feel if I didn't take it? If the honest answers are things like, I want to feel relief, I want to get back what I lost, I want to feel smart again, or I'd feel left out, behind, like I'm wasting time, then stop. That's an emotional trade, not a strategic one. You are trying to feel something the market was never meant to give you. And you know what happens when we reach for emotional payoff in uncertain spaces? We overstay, we overleverage, we override. So you stop there, you breathe, and you say, this trade is not mine to take, not until I reset. This tripwire saved me more than any indicator I've ever used. But sometimes the emotional hijack is already in progress. You've taken the trade, the market turns, panic sets in, you're sweating, clicking, thinking 1,000 thoughts at once. This is where the 3-trade rule comes in. The 3-trade rule isn't about strategy, it's about stress. Here's how it works. If you take 3 trades within a short window, let's say an hour, and 2 of them are reactive, meaning not part of your plan, not pre-journaled, not in alignment with your criteria, you must stop for the day. Non-negotiable. I call this the emotional saturation point. After 3 impulsive actions, your emotional capital is depleted, whether you admit it or not. And once that's gone, your logic is compromised. You're not trading anymore, you're chasing ghosts. So the rule is simple. 3 strikes, you pause. Not forever, just long enough to re-regulate your nervous system. That might mean stepping away for 90 minutes, going for a walk, listening to a podcast, breathing, coming back to your journal, not your chart. You reset before the 4th trade turns into a crater. Now I know what some of you are thinking, but what if I miss a good setup while I'm paused? Let me flip that question for you. What if you avoid a disaster by taking that pause? Because here's the truth. There's always another setup. There is not always another account. And there definitely isn't another you. We protect the trader before we protect the trade. That's how this becomes sustainable. But let's go even deeper. We've talked about catching sabotage. We've talked about stopping spirals. Now let's talk about identity. Because the real transformation doesn't happen at the level of behavior. It happens at the level of belief. Until you see yourself differently, you'll keep defaulting to old patterns. That's why so many traders repeat the same blow-up with different strategies. It's not the method, it's the mirror. So how do you rebuild your identity after failure? Let me show you a protocol that takes less than 7 minutes a day and changed my entire psychology. It's called the Daily Trader Reset. Here's how it works. Every morning before you open the charts, before you look at price, before you even check the news, you do 3 things. Step 1, identity reminder. 2 minutes. Say out loud or write down who you are choosing to be as a trader today, not based on your past, based on your principles. Example, I am a patient, focused, and disciplined trader. I don't chase setups. I follow process. I protect my capital, and I trust my training. You say it out loud, not because you're trying to manifest magic. You're anchoring your identity in the now, not in your last mistake. Step 2, emotional calibration. Ask, what emotional residue am I carrying from yesterday? What would I do today if I was fully emotionally neutral? This helps you catch bias before it shows up on the chart, because that leftover anger from a missed move, that can cost you a full week's progress in 1 click. But when you name it early, it loses power. Step 3, ritual reinforcement. Write down your 3 non-negotiables for today. Example, no trades without full checklist confirmation. Max 2 trades for the day, 30-minute walk after the session. Why do this? Because clarity reduces chaos. The moment your rules are written and visible, your brain relaxes. You're not hunting for trades, you're executing a structure. This entire reset takes under 7 minutes, but it has saved me years of emotional damage. And when you do it consistently, something strange starts to happen. You stop feeling like you're trying to become a trader. You are one, because your actions start to match your identity. And that's when this game gets quiet, stable, sustainable. I want to close with a final story. There was a week last year where I was tempted to spiral, 3 losing days in a row. I stuck to my plan, but the market didn't reward me. My old pattern would have been to tweak my edge, force a win, maybe even double down to feel better. But I paused, I journaled, I did the daily reset. I walked away. And you know what I felt? Not regret, not FOMO, not shame. I felt proud, not because I made money, I didn't, but because I protected my progress. I protected my process. I protected me. That's what mastery feels like. It's not perfection. It's sovereignty. It's knowing that no matter what the chart does, you are not at its mercy. You can walk away. You can reset. You can rebuild. And if you've ever blown an account, let me tell you something no one told me back then. You are not behind. You are early in your evolution. Some of the best traders I know blew 5, 10, even 20 accounts before they found their rhythm. But the ones who made it, they were the ones who stopped trying to win their way out of pain and started learning their way into peace. So let me ask you, are you ready to rebuild? Not just your account, but your rhythm, your rituals, your resilience. If so, start with the daily reset. Try it for 5 days. Give yourself a break from chasing perfection. Give yourself permission to be in process, without shame. And when you're ready to step into a trading environment that respects your discipline, check the link in the description. There's a broker I trust, no hype, just stability, so you can focus on becoming who you're meant to be behind the chart. Because you're not here to gamble, you're here to grow. And the fact that you're still watching, still listening, still leaning in, that tells me you're not done yet. You're just beginning. Again. This time, with eyes open, with your process in place, and with a new identity that no blown trade can ever take from you. You got this. If this helped you see your trading struggles in a new light and gave you real tools to start breaking the cycle, go ahead and subscribe, like, and share it with someone else who needs this reset too.